The stalwarts, the warriors, all the way to the end.
Where's your batteries? Diehards.
There's the diehards, all the way to the end of the race to win the crown. There they all come.
Buongiorno.
Buongiorno. These are the tough ones that stuck with it till the end.
And all the slow ones are still here.
And St. John Lateran is the mother church of the world. It's where the papal chair is, Peter's chair. And we'll do a tour of that. That's one of the must-see churches of Rome. And this is where Peter's chair is. This is where the table from the upper room is. The heads of Peter and Paul, the skulls are both there, and a huge reliquary. And I'm going to show you some typology there about Old and New Testament as we walk through the church. One side, they're bouncing back and forth with each other, so you'll enjoy that.
In the 20th century, sorry. But these walls were...
We just entered through the old city walls, arriving in Rome.
Built in 270. Now we are inside the old part of town. We're actually going to see some of the structures that, as you will see, they're quite close to the walls, but still part of the city center.
Our first glimpse of the Colosseum. We'll be back here on a day to tour ancient Rome and go inside. But here we are arriving first for Mass at St. Stefano Rotondo, which is a church that celebrates the martyrs. It's a little bit of rain here, but we come in and I explain the place. The torture and the suffering of people was unbelievable in the first centuries. Now this one is interesting. They're raking her chest. See, and she has the option to stop. Because if you see, he's holding up, see the white man in the white hair? He's holding up an idol. And he's saying all you have to do is worship the idol. All you have to do is burn incense to this idol and we'll stop. All you have to do is say, okay, I give up. I won't serve, I'll serve the idol. And I'll stop raking you and torturing you. But she's just looking away and she's saying no. I don't know that I could do that, but there's a statement that there's nothing that ever overcomes us that God doesn't give us the grace to withstand it. The only way, I don't like pain. I hate pain. I trust that if the time came, I'm going to be a martyr. But it would only be by the grace of God I could do it. And I think His grace is there when it comes time. Do you remember why John the Baptist was killed? Why his head was cut off and put on a platter?
Oh, yeah. Herodias.
Yeah. But it wasn't for preaching the gospel, was it? No, it wasn't for baptizing. He was beheaded for political reasons. He was beheaded because he was speaking out against the government, the king, and an illicit marriage. So he was speaking out publicly about a public issue, and it was an issue of marriage. And that's why he was martyred. Not for baptizing or telling of Jesus, but for getting involved in politics and about the morality of marriage. First Sunday in Rome, the Church of St. Stefano Rotondo. We just walked around and talked about all the tortures and the suffering that the martyrs went through. This is called the Martyrs' Church.
I'm just going to encourage, as we offer every Mass, but think of some intention, some person living under cease that you want to especially pray for. And I don't know if any of you were able to take the hymnals with you. Were you able to do that? The gospel is on the blind man, Bartimaeus.
Open my eyes, Lord, help me to see. Open my ears, Lord. And with your spirit.
God blessing the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit. glorifying the Lord by our life.
Thanks be to God.
Lunch was next, and many of the cafes and gelato shops around Rome, all of them are wonderful, and people scattered and found their favorite places or new places, and we had a great time, and then we regathered after a nice lunchtime at San Clemente.
Even more than that. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go start with the excavation and work our way up. Okay. So we're going to blast through this, which is, you know, at first, I mean, this is definitely the most beautiful part of it. We'll come back to all that. Okay. So I'm not just blasting. Oh yeah, medieval church work. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that. We're going to do the excavated area first, and then I'll show you how they discovered even more stuff underneath that, and then we'll work our way back up. Okay. Does that And so these guys realized it was kind of a non-starter to try to convert these people to Christianity by Latinizing them or Hellenizing them. And so they obtained
We're back in the upper church, and here we see the beautiful mosaic in the front called a Tree of Life. But one of my favorite things is that under the altar are the bones of two of my favorites, St. Ignatius of Antioch and St. Clement of Rome. These guys made me Catholic. Here in the church you have a reliquary, the head of Peter and Paul, and those gold busts. Greg explained the details of this beautiful apse, the mosaic, and inside this was a reliquary is the table from the Last Supper in Jerusalem. Have you ever heard of ex cathedra, from the chair? Well, this is the chair of St. Peter in the Church of St. John Lateran. Specifically, so it would correspond with the Garden of Eden. And where that was a tree of life which brought about death, here you have the tree of death which brings about life. And now you're being brought back into the garden of life in Christ. Okay. Corresponding to that, baptism now saves you. So here you have a picture of the baptism of the Old Testament, and all the wicked are being swept away. Remember I said that when the Protestants like to say, the evangelicals I should say, like to say, that you don't want to be left behind. But that's a picture right there. The ones who are left behind were not the believers. They were the wicked who were swept away, like in the days of Noah. One was taken and one was left. The ones that were taken were washed away in the flood. But there you have the corresponding baptism picture, baptism in reality. Light is coming out. So that Moses' face was glowing, and it's represented by horns, kind of something protruding from him. And so you have here him coming through the Red Sea, which is a form of new life. And what you have on this side, the resurrection of Jesus. Jesus bringing new life from the dead, just like they came out of the waters and out of Egypt, represent death and the devil and sin. They come through the water of baptism. It's like they died and they come out into new life in the promised land. And this is Jesus coming out of the tomb bringing new life as well. Now here is the number one most used symbol in the catacombs and in early Christians. And the number one symbol, you see what that is? Notice the teeth on that big whale? Maybe?
it's a sea monster.
Show that.
So Jonah is eaten by the whale and spit out in 3 days, and they said to Jesus, what is the sign you'll give us? And he said, the sign of Jonah.
Rise in 3 days.
I will be buried underground and raised in the 3 days, just like Jonah. And what's this? Jesus coming out of the grave. Isn't that fun?
Yes. That's awesome.
Now we're driving back to our hotel for the first time to check in. Beautiful streets of Rome. We passed the Victor Emmanuel II monument. We also crossed the Tiber River. I know a book with that title. And we arrive at our hotel, and look what we see from our bus as we park at our hotel. This is how close we are to St. Peter's. Here is our Michelangelo Hotel, and right there is St. Peter's. That's how close we are. And right now we're all walking to dinner to the Goose, one of Janet and my favorite restaurants. And we've been coming to this hotel for over 20 years. This is our favorite pizza in the whole world. Capriccioso. And look at this rice risotto with like a bacon Canadian, it's almost like bacon Canadian bacon and mushrooms. That's what it is. So everybody's doing good. So wine okay? Very good. Good. Do you like the pizza?
Yes.
Oh, outstanding.
It's good pizza.
Cheers.
Salute.
Salute.
Happy to be in Rome and all settled down, and here's the schedule for tomorrow. It's going to be a great day, and they're going to have a free afternoon, which everyone's looking forward to. Join us tomorrow.